So let's create some awareness. Let's just sit for a moment and close our eyes. And we're just gonna find where our seat is. We're gonna feel the length of the spine and start tuning inward. Take a nice big breath in and a long breath out. And a nice big breath in and a long breath out. And now turn your palms up towards the ceiling. And I want you to just bring your pointer finger and thumb together. And when you take a big breath in, where do you feel that breath? Maybe a few more. And when I sit like this, I like to, when my eyes are closed, look kind of at my third eye or right in the middle of my eyebrows. It helps to give you a little point to focus on. Now bring your middle finger and thumb together and take a big breath in and out. Perhaps you feel this breath a little bit more in the center of the rib cage, in the center of the lungs. And then bring the ring finger and thumb together. And perhaps you feel this breath a little bit more in the belly. And then bring the pinky and thumb together. And perhaps you feel this breath in the pelvis, way down deep. And then we're going to go in the reverse direction. So middle finger to thumb, breathing in the belly. Ring finger to thumb, breathing in. Maybe in the lungs. And then pointer finger to thumb, breathing in. Maybe in the back. And just breathe comfortably. And I'd like for you, as we work through class today, is to just feel the length of that breath. Truly from as it enters in the nose and goes all the way through the body. And then it comes back up through the body and out. Great, let's start with big circles. If you're on a bolster, I find it's a lot easier to come off the bolster, but whatever's comfortable for you. And you can create and link breath with this as well. So you can breathe in and breathe out. As I come forward, I'm breathing in. And as I'm moving back, I'm breathing out. And now pay attention to where you feel the pelvis, the bones of the hips. Can you feel yourself heavy on one side and then heavy on another? And then go the other way, breathing in and exhaling out. I like to imagine our pelvis as a bowl. So if the bowl is a little bit more forward, stuff will kind of fall out of it. So how can you make that bowl feel in the center so you don't spill your fruit? And then take a moment in the center and pause. And we're going to take our band And you're just gonna, this is to help create some awareness again of this breath. You're gonna bring the band underneath, kind of in the middle of your armpit and rib cage. And you're just gonna make it like pretty tight so you can even like cross it. We're gonna do this in 3 different spots. So kind of see if you can get this one up a little bit higher. And all you're gonna do is give yourself a little tension and breathe in. So we want the band to be pretty flat, or as flat as it can be. And if you need some help laying it down, just let me know. And then as you reach out, you're just gonna give yourself, like, let it cross. Yeah, we're not choking ourselves. And then take a big breath in and see if you can feel the band on your back. And just keep noticing this breath. So this isn't, yeah, that's great. So this isn't for strength training or anything like that right now. This is for awareness. Breathe in and out. Is that okay? Welcome. And so just, again, just kind of notice what that feels like. And now we will do a little bit of movement through here. So I'm just going to turn so you guys can see me. I'm going to bring the band out just a bit so I don't feel like I'm struggling, but I want to push my back into that band like a cat position. And then you're going to lift up cow. So I'm moving through the spine. I'm really trying to push and get that feedback, and then pulling myself up and moving through that spine using this band. We're gonna do this again in kind of a tabletop cat-cow. So just noticing what can move, lift and forward, what can round. And then you're gonna take that band and just bring it a little bit lower. And first, just see if you can feel the expansion of the ribs into that band. And feel the movement through there. And then same thing, bring it out just a little bit, lift up and round. And you can, if you really want a little bit more stability, you can put your hands with the band on your knees. And then that kind of gives me a little bit more of like a feeling of jetting forward. Good. And then bring the band a little bit lower. And I'm having it like a girdle around my pelvis. And you're gonna cross your hands just so we can feel some resistance. This feels really nice on my hips. Take a big breath in and out. And now try to do that rotation that we just did with the band behind you. So you're just trying to feel what the bones feel like into this band. And then perhaps go the opposite way. And then coming through the center and then lifting up and then rounding, and just kind of say, oh, wow, it feels different when I do cat-cow, a seated cat-cow through here. And then go ahead, bend your knees, put your feet on the ground, bring the band right behind you, and then lift up the cat-cow from here. I don't know if I like that. Let's bring it up higher to lift it up on with the knees bent. Yeah, I like that better, I think. So now I can use my feet connected to the ground and my knees. Good. And then coming back up to center, removing the band, and just take a minute to see what you've created through here, to see what proprioception and awareness we brought to that back. Good. Now coming up to your hands and knees, keep your band close by. You're going to find your knees under your hips, your shins pushing into the ground if you can. You're going to lengthen that neck. So we're lifting up and we're exhaling and we're rounding. And we're keeping that length that we've just cultivated. And then we lift up, look up. Exhale, round down, look down. Let your eyes be the guide. Their muscles too. And then once you get to this rounded position, you're going to push yourself back to your heels and then back up. And then make it a little springy if you'd like. Breathing in and out. Pushing, rounding. I find that since we've been doing this for quite some time, I don't feel that like stretch anymore, which is good, because at first it kind of was like, oh, you know. But now I find that it just moves very softly, very smoothly. And then just take a moment and pause in tabletop. And I want you to find where your center is in tabletop. So maybe you tuck and untuck that pelvis to see where it is, or bring it side to side. And then really think of the length of that spine, the connection of the ribs and the hips, and breathe in and out. Nice. Then we're going to lift the knees, lift the hips, and pedal out to the first downward facing dog. Let things lengthen. Today we are getting long, long, long. We're creating awareness. Softening the knees, pedaling the feet, lifting the hips, pushing the finger pads into the ground. Let's stretch our hips. We're going to reach our right leg towards the ceiling. Let it lift like I'm pulling up behind you. And then you're going to pull that knee into your chest as high as you can. Rounding through that back, pulling that knee up, hovering for a moment. And then as best as you can, we're going to lift up through that back, kind of round, and then place the foot in the center of your hands. Yeah. Oh, much better, Elaine. That looks really great. And we're just going to come on up for a nice, easy stretch. Settle in the hips. Find that length. And play around with the way the pelvis moves. So you can tuck and untuck the pelvis in this position. And you want to find, again, the very center of where those hips are. Nice. And then we'll reach both of the arms up towards the ceiling. Let the shoulder blades come down. And what I mean by that is really pull underneath the armpit so that as I pull down, my head can lengthen and my arms will reach up. Try to lift that chest up, and then you're going to bend the right arm. Keep the left arm lifted and then reach over towards the right and then back. Create a little movement here. Nice. Very good. And then find some stillness. And I'm thinking I'm like pulling a big beach ball in. I'm centered through here, and then I reach over and get a nice long stretch under here. Find your breath. Make these uncomfortable positions feel comfortable. Good. Bring the arms up to a T, and you're going to just shift forward in that front leg. And as I shift forward, I'm going to turn over to the right. And my right arm is reaching behind me. My left hand is on my right knee. And I'm tall through my spine. Try to really push the hand and knee together. Yeah. Good, and then whatever direction you're in, you're gonna move yourself to the center and then go the opposite way. So press the hand to the knee and really see what can happen when we just rotate in this direction. Good, coming back to the center. You're gonna take your right elbow and you're gonna pull that right elbow like you're shooting an arrow. Switch hands. Yeah, my right. Good. I think it's better if you guys can see me this way. And then follow the elbow with your eyes. Look down, see where that elbow is. Woohoo. Good. And then hold. Lift the elbow up a little higher. Yeah. And now you're going to take your left arm and reach it up towards the ceiling. Your right arm can come down on your hand. You can even let the left arm just bounce. So it bounces back and bounces up. We're doing awareness today. We're doing coordination. And then now you're gonna, as you can stay here, level 1. Level 2, we move with it. So it somehow, maybe I'm like I'm bowling. Good. The final one is to actually make a circle. So you kind of come up and around and open up. But again, just see what feels good. Bring that arm down. Bring your hands to your hips and let your chest lift and rise. Come forward, hinging forward from the chest, framing your foot. Yeah. We're going to lift the back knee up and hover. Good. And then we're going to bring that back leg forward and fold. That made me sweaty. That was harder than I thought. Try to make a little figure 8 with your hands and moving from the inside of your foot to the outside of your foot. And then pause for a moment. Bring your hands to your shins. Lengthen through the head. Lower down. Push your feet into the ground. Stack up. Reach up. Lift up. Friends, let's reach up towards the ceiling, any arm, and kind of notice this is the same position that we were in when we were kneeling. Good. Now I'm going to drop down my left arm, and then I'm going to reach over towards my left side and back. So that left arm is holding, and I reach over with the right, up and over. Good. Bring the arms back up towards the ceiling. Right arm comes down. Left arm reaches up and over. And try to imagine you're bringing the hands together. Does the top reach to the bottom or the bottom reaches to the top? Which one? Yeah, making you guys think a lot this morning. And reach up towards the ceiling. Fall from the hips. Try to keep the arms out wide. Diving down. Bending the knees. Find that figure 8. Walk your hands out and just become aware of this new downward facing dog. Maybe you have a little bit more length. Maybe it feels a little easier to kind of think of bringing the front of the chest down towards the ground. Yeah, look at all of that motion. Now I'm going to take my left leg and lift it up towards the ceiling. Imagine I'm right behind you, pulling up. And then I'm going to pull that knee in, let it hover and hold. Push my hands into the ground, pull up, round that back. And then when you're ready, you're going to pull that leg forward through. I love the progress of that. You did it. So once I get to bringing that foot forward, I'm going to drop the back knee down. We'll all settle here. I moved us pretty quickly. I get excited. You guys are all doing it so well. So my hands are on my hips, and I'm just going to tuck and untuck my tailbone. Where are my hips in this position? Then you're going to find the very center. I like to anchor myself by letting that back shin push into the ground. Once I find that my center, I'm going to reach up, get a nice little stretch. And again, thinking that we want to bring this chest bone forward. This chest bone and this backbone are connected. And if I can really create good movement through here, I'm going to help create good movement through my hips and shoulders. Now you're going to reach over towards the left side. Yeah, we're all on our left side. We're going to reach up and over towards the left. Good. And find some movement with this. This is what we just did standing. And then we're going to move that arm up and down. Maybe bring some swing with it. Maybe move the hips. You can move the hips forward like you're bowling. Yeah. Strike. And then you can really, if you'd like, to add the circle. So we reach forward with our knee and move around. I know. And then find some stillness and reach up. Frame that foot. So you're going to, just like you're throwing a big ball, throw that ball, come down and find your feet. Bring that back. And you're going to find your band in a tabletop position. I'm going to take my band and I'm going to try to place it into the center of my back as best as I can. And then it's going to be tricky and it's funny. So if we're going to try to get the band to the ground, so I have to kind of hold it and grip it with my hands like this in a certain way. So if it's funny, you can do almost like a fist and put the fist down on the ground if you don't want your hand all the way down on the ground. Yeah, that's great, Barbara. So I'm gonna play around with it and see which one I like better. So I'm gonna lift up, look up, exhale, round. And we're using the band. We want our back to go into that band. This is creating a little bit of a joint move to help, one, find awareness, two, increase flexibility of extension, which is this, and then flexion, which is this. And then I'm going to find where I feel in the very center. Keep the band there. Maybe that means you have to shift forward a little bit or shift back. You should be feeling this in your core. Breathing in and out. And then removing that band, coming back. Give your wrists a little break. Move them around. Great. We're going to take our blocks since we're kneeling. Let's grab our blocks. You got everybody else ready, Mike. And I'm going to take one block and I'm going to place it in between my knees. I've been practicing this all week to show you guys. I've been so excited putting this class together since I got these fun bands. And I actually want the block to be a little like in the middle of the thigh. So it's high up. And what I'm doing is squeezing the block and letting my hips just relax. Find this for a moment and just feel the lift from the front, the back dropping down, the slight squeeze of the thighs. Then you're going to take your band, palms up towards the ceiling. Keep everything lifted and long, and we're going to open up. Oh, I picked the resistance. We're going to keep opening up. So my elbows are next to my body, almost like I'm serving a tray. Yeah, and I'm just opening and closing. And surprise, we're squeezing as well. We're getting a lift. The belly button is in and out. Good. So I want to feel my shoulder blades squeezing together and then just hold it. Breathe, hold, shoulder muscles, and then relax, come on out of it. How did everybody feel after we added some weights last week? Yeah? No injury? Great. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and find that downward dog again and just feel, oh my gosh, look, my foot came all the way down. So see the difference, what just happened? Feel the ease. Bring the hands a little bit closer to your feet and let yourself, yeah, look at that stretch. And then you're gonna step forward with your right foot, step forward with your left foot, push your feet in the ground and stand up tall. Let's find our ball. We haven't used this in a while. So you're gonna simply push yourself into the ball, settle through the standing leg, and then roll. If you need to go to the wall, well, we can do that too. We haven't done it in a while. Go slow, push, and now roll slowly from the top to the bottom. And now try to go side to side. Ooh, we have not done this we didn't do this last week, I can tell. And then bring the ball to the middle of the foot and roll side to side, like by the toes. And then you'll go ahead and stretch your big toe. Stretch the small toes. My heel is on the ground. Just do what feels nice. And then let's try this, bringing the ball to the center of the foot. You're going to squeeze the ball with your toes and then open up. Squeeze and open. So this is a big balancing act. I've throw this in there for you guys. We didn't even know we're balancing. Good. And let's just take a break, walk around, feel what that foot feels like. Feel what the length of your spine is starting to feel like since we are really grounded into the ground. We've moved our rib cage a little bit. We've moved that back body a little bit, that thoracic spine. Lovely. And then find your ball. And go to the other side. So I like to sink into it to start. Then I lift and sink and lift and sink. And then I can go ahead and roll. Getting the inside. And then moving it side to side. And then find that big toe. And bend the knee, bend through the toes. Get the smaller toes. Good, and then take a little walk. Notice what's going on. Let things lift and lengthen. We're doing deep core work today. So when we actually work the bottom of the feet, we're working that deep core that runs from the inside of the leg all the way up through the diaphragm, comes up through the throat and ends at the tongue. So that's kind of when people describe their core, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm not just thinking of my core from being here to here. I think and know that my core comes all the way through here, up through here, connects diaphragm and spine, and then comes all the way up. Okay, so we're gonna do just that. We're gonna move our hips in a figure 8 pattern and see which way you go first. See if you can picture in your mind and your feeling what the foot is doing on the ground. Yeah, can it lift a little bit? Then can it stay on its heel? And then switch directions of whichever way you're going. And then bring your hands to your arms, and we're gonna make like a figure 8 with your elbows. So you can pause your hips, or if you can, I'm not quite at the coordinated part to move my hips just yet. But I'm gonna move my arm back like I'm swimming, and then the other one comes back like I'm swimming. Good, and go the other way. So now come whichever way you were going. See if that can go forward. Good. And then let's go backwards again. So as if I'm paddling backwards, or I'm in a kayak and I'm going backwards through that kayak. Good. Reach up towards the ceiling. Fall forward from the hips. Hands come on your shins. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fall. Walk your hands out to downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. And I'm gonna take my right leg and lift it up towards the ceiling, just like we've done before. Maybe it feels a little stronger now. And you're gonna pull that knee into your chest. Let the foot come all the way down. And I'm gonna come up to a warrior 2 position. In this warrior 2 position, I wanna just move in and out of it. So I'm gonna put my hands on my hips, and I'm gonna feel my hips move sideways, move up and down into that knee, finding the center of this pelvis, the center of this bowl. And while you're moving, can you imagine all of that fruit in the bowl is tucked up and under so it doesn't fall away? Good. And then find some stillness in your warrior 2. Push that front knee forward, lift up tall from the chest. Make sure the back pinky toe is lifted up through the arch and touching the ground. Bring the arms up towards a T. Turn the front palm up towards the ceiling. Move with this. So bring that front arm up, hinge backwards, and then hinge forwards. Hinge backwards. My left hand comes up and kind of pulls up and gathers. Good. And then you're gonna bring your right arm to your right knee. Keep the back foot connected and lifted. So when it's lifted, you'll feel this rotation happening all the way up. And then you can reach your left arm towards the ceiling. Push your right hand into your right knee. Push that right forearm. Yeah, whatever you have. And then reach your left arm by your ear. So my bicep is going to try to be by my head, by my ear. Lovely. Now bring that top arm up towards the ceiling. Reach up and have the feet face the same way. Fall forward from your hips. Pretty good. So what else I'm hoping to show you guys is to kind of show you how to get into and out of these positions in a way that's like, hey, I can create a little bit more length. I can be strong. I don't hear my knee talking to me. I don't hear my hips talking to me. Bring your hands on your hips. You're going to turn the feet so you feel the pinky toe connection, and then bring yourself up to standing. Shift your foot. So now you're just going to rotate over to the left side in the front. So now my left leg is forward. Yeah, cool. I love working in the mat these ways. So in this position, move the hips. What do they feel like in center? Bend that front knee. that back foot is connected in a way. So I'm lifting up through the arch. I feel the rotation happening. Yeah, if I had a camera for you guys to show you, you'd be on like yoga today or something. Everybody looks so good. So now bend that front knee, find that center pelvis. So again, if you have fruit in your bowl, we don't want the fruit to fall out. So where do you feel in the center of the hips? Bring the left arm onto the left thigh. And reach the right arm up and over the head. And then maybe it reaches by the ear. The top arm reaches to the top ear. Feeling that stretch all the way. Letting the right foot, which is the back foot, turn out. And maybe even the front knee turns out a little bit more. Bring it to the back of your mat. Yeah, reach up towards the ceiling. Come on out of that position. Bring your hands to the center of your hips. And now we're just gonna flow and move in and out of it. So we're gonna go to the right leg, push forward, come up, go to the left leg, moving, pushing, creating some movement here. And then if you'd like, we can push your arms. So I'm gonna just reach and push and reach and push. And then so when I go to the front, my opposite leg, yeah. Good, and bring your feet back to center. Ooh, reach up, lift up, look up. Good, fall forward from your hips. Sometimes I do a little bit more work. Hands come onto your shin, inhale, half lift. Exhale, fall forward. Keep the sense of lift and now walk your hands forward into downward facing dog. I really do love trying to get into posture and positions in a different way. I like finding stillness and length, but also to have a little speed. And now you're going to walk your feet up towards your hands. So again, changing how you get to the top of the mat or the back of the mat. Hands come on your shins. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fall down. Push your feet into the ground and lift on up. Reach up. And come on down. And just for a moment, just stand. Stand as tall as you can. So that means you have to soften through the back of the hip, lift up from the front. Good. And now you're going to grab our little stretchy band again. And we're going to work through our feet. So I'm going to stand on the band. So I feel it underneath my heel. Bring it in front of you. Yeah, there you go. Great. So I'm going to lift up the band to lift up my toes. And then I'm going to try to push my toes down into the ground. This helps the muscles on the bottom of the feet and helps that big toe, again, to get us that sense of ground. So I'm really trying to, if I were to look down, I can see that I'm pulling my toes up. I can still feel the middle of the foot on the ground. So I'm not quite doing a full stretch here. I'm just trying to see if I can lift up my toes and then give myself resistance as I push that big toe like I'm painting a picture and try to get the big toe to touch the ground. Yes, just like that. And then just hold the big toe, pull that band up, and step forward. You'll get a little stretch. Yeah. And then come out of it. Switching sides. I have the band in front of me and I have it under my foot. I'm going to lift up my big toes. And then I'm going to push my toes down to the ground. It's funny, you know, if you feel like you're gripping and you're trying to find that ground, it's actually hurting your foot. So really try to, same as like when we find our finger pads when we're in downward dog, you kind of want to find the toe pads. And try not to let it grip. We want it to land so that you feel the big toe. I have a hard time on this foot. They're very different. I have very different feet. But our big toe is so, so important for walking and balance. Good. Now hold that down. Yeah, geez, mine are. And try to really let that big toe push into the ground, pull the band up just a little bit more. And then like you're going to step forward, you can just kind of push forward. Wow, that's hard. Are you guys struggling with this as much as I am, or? Good. And then just take that band away. Walk around, see what that feels like. You feel your feet. Yay! We need to have our foot be able to really roll from the heel through the midfoot and pushing off that toes. And a lot of times we are walking on the sides of our feet, or we walk on the middle of the foot, or kind of in the center. Very cool. That, sometimes when I put things together, I never know how it's going to come out, but I like that. And then just find your feet standing. See if you can feel that length. The bowl that I stand in is in a position where I'm not letting my fruit fall out. I'm letting the bowl support me. I let the chest bone support me, and I lift up tall. Then I reach up towards the ceiling. Fall forward. Let the chest bone fall forward. Find your hands on your shins. Half lift, and then walk yourself out to downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Take a nice big breath in and a long breath out. Shift forward. So tuck that bowl under. Don't let the fruit fall out even in this position. Find yourself stacked and tall. And I'm going to challenge you guys so you can stay here, but we've been working now for like 8 weeks. So I want you to come down, watch me first, come down into a high plank on your forearms. Bring your knees down to the ground if you can't do that, and then lift the knees up. So now you're in a plank position. Create that length. Let your spine lift. Don't let the fruit fall out. Three more breaths. Here's your core you want, Mike. And one. Bring the knees down. Bring the head down to the palms. And then you're just going to take your right foot and push it into right hip, really. Push that right hip bone into the ground. Then you're going to lift your right heel. Yeah, just find that length. Keep it long. Press into the left hand. Just press into it. Find the security. Good. Drop the back leg. Switching sides, finding the left hip bone. Let that push into the ground. Try not to arch the back. Reach long, lift the leg. Push the right hand and elbow into the ground. Feel that stability. And then come down. Pushing back, big toes together, knees apart. Find a little stretch through here. Pedal out the arms. Breathing slow and deep. Maybe the forehead comes to the ground. You can come to your hands if you'd like. softening as best as you can. And then on your next inhale, coming up to the tabletop position and just swinging your legs around, finding the ground. Find your band with you just so that it's close by. And we're gonna make our way down to the ground nice and slow. I like to really move through my hip and spine. So right now I'm sitting on my hip bones. I come down to the low back bones, the middle spine, the upper spine, and all the way down. Nice. First time on our backs in a while, so just take a moment and maybe windshield wiper the knees side to side. And then bringing the legs back to center, you're gonna take your band again, and I'm gonna hook it right by my foot. So first, just find a stretch. I like using a band sometimes better than a belt because I can create a little bit more springiness. I'm gonna do a couple of things with this. You're gonna point your foot, don't let the band snap you in the face. So have some good control with this. And you're just gonna push your big toe into the band and up towards the ceiling. So I'm pointing and flexing through my ankle and then pointing and flexing through my toes with the band. Not too many. Again, find the spot where you feel like, oh gosh, am I tightening up? Am I getting a really sharp pain through the back of my leg? If you are, just move out of that and then retry this position. Now you're gonna keep the foot flexed and you're gonna reach the leg all the way down to the ground. Hold the band tight. My foot is still flexed and my leg comes all the way down to the ground. I'm gonna try to push the foot towards the top of the mat and then let it rebound back. So I'm just pushing into that band and then I let the leg come back. So if my hands were touching your hip bone, I can feel the separation between the hip and the leg. And just get a sense of, just keep doing that a few times. So it's not just coming from my foot, it's coming from my whole leg. And then you let it bounce back. So try not to let it have a big contraction. So push, let the foot rest and then push out towards me and then let it relax. Aha, so the whole leg. Keep the leg straight and then you're pushing from the hip. Good, find me, find me, find me. Find me, find me, find me, good. And then let it all relax. Remove the band and bend the knees. And simply notice the back of your hips. For me, they feel a little closer to the ground. It feels like I can just let my head lengthen really long. And then we'll get the other side. So you bring the band to the center of the foot. Reach the foot up towards the ceiling. So I'm using my right foot now. And then I'm just gonna play around here. If you like just having the stretch, you can have the stretch. Or if you'd like to create a little bit more movement, you can push your toes and then flex the heel. Just kind of feel what you need. Also notice when you stretch more towards the toes, you're gonna feel that in a different part of the leg than if you were to stretch and put the band closer to the heel bone. You might feel that in the hamstring, you might feel that in the knee or behind the knee. Try not to have any numbness or tingling with this. And then you're gonna keep the foot flexed and bring the band and the leg all the way down to the ground. My hands go right on top of the bones of my pelvis. And I'm gonna push my leg forward and then let it bounce back. So I'm reaching the leg towards me. Yeah, and then let it relax. Reach the leg into the band with the foot flex and then let it relax. Good. Last one, just hold it here. And then let it relax. Bring the knees into the chest. Rock side to side. And just notice what your hips feel like. Maybe it feels a little easier to pull them in without any pinching, or maybe you can keep your head on the ground a little bit easier. And then when you're ready, you're gonna just let the legs fall out. If you need warmer clothes or a blanket, this is a nice time to grab that. And I'm just gonna feel my back on the ground. Take a nice big breath in. Long breath out. I sometimes like to have my hands on my belly so I can feel the breath in my belly first and how big it can grow. Keeping the eyes closed and maybe even rubbing the hands together, getting some friction, and placing your hands right above your eyes. Letting the eyes get a little break. Maybe another minute with your hands over your eyes. And then bring your hands just by your ears. And maybe you just cup the ears, or maybe you can bring the palm towards the ear. Be gentle if you have hearing aids and kind of cup the hand. And then bring the hands down to the ground. Maybe the palms are up. Maybe the hands are back on your belly, and just let the body feel really heavy. There's nowhere to be. I will pull us back. If you'd like a little adjustment, or if you wouldn't like one, rather, just make a little fist for me. I'm going to come around and give us a little stretch through. Coming back to the sound of my voice and noticing the breath in the belly, the breath up to the lungs, and the breath up to the neck. And maybe wiggling your toes or fingers and rolling over to a side that feels comfortable for you. And taking a moment there to acknowledge the greatness of the body. Maybe sending a little gratitude or a pretty color to the ankle joint and knee joint, the hip and shoulder. And when you're ready, keeping your eyes closed if you're able and finding your seat, coming back to a comfortable position. Allowing the head to lift up easily like it's floating away. The shoulders can float down. Feeling the connection and ease. And when you're ready, bring your hands up towards the ceiling. Reach up nice and tall. Big breath in. Long breath out. Hands come through center. May you move well. May you be well. May you have a great day. Thanks so much for joining class. It's pretty fun.